Hello, sports fans, and welcome to the Scout Sports 101 Sunday Night Football post-game show, Monday Night Football update show. Excuse me. We'll talk about last night's Sunday night game and tonight's game between the Cowboys and Bengals. But first, here is today's Scout Sports 101 Monday Night Football Week 14 trivia question. What lanky wide receiver did the Bengals draft with their second round pick in 1980? It's a Bengals trivia question. I'll have the answer later in the podcast. Well, last night's Sunday night game, it was an interesting game last night between the Chiefs and Chargers. Uh, Andy Reid doesn't need to schedule a stress test anytime soon. He seems to get one every week. The Kansas City Chiefs coach saw his third string kicker doink a 31-yard field goal off the left upright and threw for a victory that secured the Chiefs' ninth straight AFC West title. It was the Chiefs' 15th straight win in a one-score game over the last two seasons. Patrick Mahomes led the two-time defending Super Bowl champions, who are now 12-1, on a clock-killing 4.5-minute drive to set up Matthew Wright's fourth field goal. The ball clanged off the upright in the latest narrow escape for Kansas City, which is 10-0 this season in one-score games. The Chiefs have now had three different kickers making a game-winning field goal as time expired this season. No other team in NFL history has had more than one kicker do so in a single season. After securing a first down inside the 2-minute warning, both Mahomes and Reid were content with running out the clock for the potential game winner rather than trying to score a touchdown and leave time on the clock for Justin Herbert and the Chargers. I trusted Matthew, so I was good with where we were, Reid said. Percentages are pretty high. I know we won a game in that same situation on the opposite end, so I get it a bit. I get it, excuse me. But he is a solid gamer, so I wasn't too worried about it. Wright said he wasn't thinking about the game situation, instead focusing on what he had to do if it came down to his right leg as the ball headed toward the upright and started drifting left. Wright said his thought wasn't good. It was not a good one, he said. I wanted it to just go right down the middle. Obviously, Kansas City's nine straight division titles are too short of the New England Patriots NFL record of 11. The Chiefs led 13-0 at halftime after the Chargers, who now have fallen to 8-5, punted on their first five possessions. But LA woke up in the second half, scoring on each of its three drives. Cameron Dicker's 37-yard field goal put the Chargers ahead 17-16 with 4:35 left. We just had to settle in, said Herbert, who was 21 of 30 for 213 yards and a touchdown. We didn't make enough plays in the first half. We didn't execute the way we wanted to. Pass game, run game, we weren't moving the ball well. That's on us, and I praise the guys for staying in there, staying patient, and making plays in the second half. Mahomes then went to work, hitting Xavier Worthy for 14 yards on 3rd and 10 and scrambling for another first down after the 2-minute warning. Mahomes scrambled, dodged would-be tackle, and lobbed a throw to a kneeling Travis Kelce that allowed the Chiefs to run the clock down to 0. And excuse me, I went through my reads, Mahomes said. As I was ready to run, I just saw 87 just sitting right there in the middle of the field, so open, so I fired it to him. Mahomes said he's not surprised that Kelsey stepped up in the clutch. He means the world to me, he said, without getting emotional. He's a guy that has really kind of made me who I am in my who I am in my career. He's a true leader on the football field. He's someone that I can just go to at any moment, and he's going to make a big play happen. And he's done, and he's done throughout his career. And as he's done throughout his career, excuse me. Mahomes was sacked 3 times and has taken 13 sacks over the past 3 games, the most of any 3 game stretch in his career. The Chargers opened up the second half with a 13 play, 79-yard drive that concluded with Gus Edwards' 3-yard touchdown. Following a Chiefs punt, the Chargers then went 74 yards on 4 plays, aided by a 39-yard pass interference penalty on Justin Reed to take a 14-3 lead. Herbert found Quentin Johnson for a 4-yard touchdown, the Chargers' first TD pass in 13 quarters. The Chiefs responded with Wright's third field goal, this one from 50 yards after an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against Trey Smith pushed Kansas City back. The Chiefs settled for Wright's 47-yard field goal on their opening drive, during which Mahomes passed Dan Marino for the most passing yards in the first 8 years of his career. Late in the second quarter, Herbert was hit by Kansas City linebacker Nick Bolton, forcing him to miss a play and leading to the Chargers' 5th punt. The Chiefs responded with a 9-play, 77-yard drive that ended with DeAndre Hopkins' touchdown catch. Kansas City's halftime lead was its largest of the season, and it shut out an opponent in the first half for the first time. Kelsey finished with 45 yards receiving and has 12,010 in his career, trailing only Tony Gonzalez and Jason Witten among tight ends. He is the fastest to reach 12,000 among tight ends. 12,000 yards among tight ends, excuse me. Herbert missed only one play after the hit by Bolton, and after trainers looked at his left leg, Tyler Heineke replaced him. Tight end Will Disley left the game with a right shoulder injury in the third quarter, and wide receiver Jalen Rieger was hurt in the third quarter. Chiefs tackle DJ Humphries left in the fourth quarter with a hamstring injury. So this was a low-scoring game, but it was a very interesting game, and the Chiefs were able to get the win. And the Chargers will have to regroup as they host Tampa Bay and Baker Mayfield next week this coming Sunday at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. And the Chiefs will be here in Cleveland to take on the Browns, and I'm not holding my breath on the Browns beating the Chiefs next week. But this game was, but the Chargers came back in that second half, took the lead, but Kansas City regained it, and they just could not get over that hurdle to win. And right now, I got to give the game balls to the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, 24 of 37 carries and attempts, 210 yards, 1 touchdown. Isaiah Pecco, 14 attempts, 55 yards, and DeAndre Hopkins, 4 receptions, 32 yards, 1 touchdown. Kansas City goes to 12-1, and the Chargers fall to 8-5. We will get to the Monday night game in just a moment, But right now, it is time to reveal the answer to today's Scott Sports one-on-one trivia question from Monday Night Football Week 14. As I said, it's a Bengals one. What likely wide receiver did the Bengals draft with their second round pick in 1980? And if you said Hall of Famer Chris Collinsworth, you are correct. The Bengals picked Purser in the first round. Chris Collinsworth turned out to be much better. I will have the another trivia question on my next podcast, which will be for Scott Sports 101 Thursday Night Football. So stay tuned for that. And right now, we're going to get to the Monday night game. It's the Cincinnati Bengals and the Dallas Cowboys in Week 14 of Monday Night Football at AT&T Stadium in Big D. And I have the Bengals, and so is my brother-in-law. I am 8-4, and my brother-in-law is I think he's 9, and I gotta look here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 and 5. He's 7 and 5. Oh, but we'll see. If Cincinnati loses, I'll still win. But if they win, I go to 9 and 5. To 9 and 4. Excuse me. But they're playing this game at Big D in AT&T Stadium in Big D in Dallas, Texas. It's 17-10 Bengals in the second quarter, 15 seconds to go until halftime. It's the first and 10 to Cincinnati 7. The Bengals now have the ball. And it has been an interesting first half, to say the least. And I want to read the preview to you before I get into running it down the first half, because we're about to go to halftime. With star quarterback Dak Prescott already sidelined for the season by a torn hamstring, the Dallas Cowboys now have to go to the rest of the way out with right guard Zach Martin because of the 7-time All-Pros bad ankle. The latest injury downer for Dallas comes with the Cowboys, who are 5-7 on the upswing of consecutive victories that have stoked hope for an improbable rally to playoff contention. Cincinnati visits Monday night. That's tonight for the second of 3 game straight opponents with losing records, but easily the most dangerous with quarterback Joe Burrow playing at an MVP level despite the Bengals' baffling 4-8 record. It's just like nothing changes, star Dallas pass rusher Micah Pearson said. We've got who we've got, and nothing's going to change that. Let's just play ball, man. Let's just have fun. We got a great opportunity Monday night to put on a show. We're going to be the only show on TV. Burrow is one of 5 quarterbacks in NFL history with at least 30 touchdown passes and no more than 5 interceptions through 12 games. He entered the week leading the league in passing yards, 3,337 completions and 302 and touchdowns 30, and he's thrown just 5 picks. Yet Burrow doesn't even have the number of victories of the others to put up those numbers in 12 games. 2 of them, Aaron Rodgers with Green Bay in 2012 and Tom Brady with New England in 2007, were 12-0. While Burrow said he isn't even thinking about the postseason as the Bengals try to end their second 3-game losing streak of the season, he believes there's something to be said for the second Monday night game of the season for both teams. Whether you like it or not, how you perform in primetime games matters as far as perception across the league, said Burrow, who has at least 300 yards passing and 3 TDs in all 3 of the consecutive losses. I think if you perform great on primetime nights, then you start to get a little different reputation across the league. Excuse me. And Martin decided this week to have a season-ending ankle surgery after missing the past 2 games. The injury happened late in Dallas' previous Monday night game, 34-10 loss to Houston on November 18th. Prescott also had a season-ending injury on his hamstring after playing 8 games. Defensive end DeMarcus Lawrence hasn't played since injuring a foot in week 4 and appears to be at least another week away from returning. It's not a matter if you're going to have injuries. You're always going to have injuries, Dallas coach Mike McCarthy said. It's just a matter of how many when they come and who gets injuries. It takes so many players to get through a season, and this is another illustration of that. Cincinnati's pregame skid looks familiar to the Cowboys, who have lost 5 in a row before winning the past 2. Dallas 27-20. Thanksgiving victory over the New York Giants ended a 6-game home skid going back to last season's playoff loss to Green Bay. Even without Burrow's standout stats, the Bengals would have the Cowboys' attention. When your offense is rolling, it puts a different level of stress on the defense. McCarthy said, "The thing that we're seeing is that they throw a lot at you. This is a very good football team. I would never think that their record illustrates what we see on video. 7 of the Bengals' losses this season have been one-score games, and Cincinnati is the first NFL team to lose 4 games in a season in which it scored 33 points or more. The Bengals have averaged 30.3 points per game against teams with a 500 or better records. They're 0-7 in those games. Defense is the obvious place to start for an explanation. In last week's 44-38 loss to Pittsburgh, Cincinnati gave up 520 yards total, and Steelers quarterback Russell Wilson threw for 414 yards, the second most of his career, and 3 TDs. DeMarvian's overshot spectacular 23-yard interception return for a touchdown against the Giants might end up being the coming out party for Dallas second-year linebacker. That's partly because he missed his rookie season with a knee injury. And when Overshown tipped Drew Lock's pass, ran down the deflection and scored untouched, he suddenly found himself in the company of Parsons, who is trying to go 4-4 in double-digit sack seasons after missing 4 games with a high ankle sprain. Overshown set up the flashy play with old-fashioned physical football, overpowering Devin Singletary when the running back tried to block him and ending up between the quarterback and his running back. I think the best part is him defeating the block, Parsons said. I think the fact that the bulldozer in him, I'm not going to make a move. I'm not going to run through the dude. That's probably the reason why he got the pick. Injuries have shaken up the Bengals' offensive line this season, and Coach Zach Taylor is still searching for the right combination. Veteran Cody Ford, who stepped in at left tackle when Orlando Brown Jr. was injured, replaced the benched Cordell Volson at left guard against the Steelers. Ford played well enough to get another start. Uh, Amaris Mims, the rookie first-round draft pick, was pushed into a starting role at right tackle when Trent Brown suffered a season-ending knee injury in Week 4. But this game has been interesting this first half, and right now it's 17-10 at halftime, and I'm gonna do a recap of the first half. First quarter, the Bengals had to punt after going 3 and out, 3 plays, 4 yards. And then the Cowboys scored their first touchdown of the game. It was Cooper Rush patch short right to CeeDee Lamb for the 11-yard touchdown. It's the 4th and 1 to Cincinnati 11. And then the Cincinnati 15. Brandon Aubrey's extra point is good. 7-0 Cowboys. Then the Bengals scored their first touchdown of the game. And it was second and goal at the Dallas 5. Joe Burrow passed right to Jamar Chase for the 5-yard touchdown. At the Dallas 15, it was a kick formation penalty on Cincy for delay of game. Minus 5 yards on force at the Dallas 15. There was no play. It's the Dallas 20. Cade York's extra point is good, and it was 7-7 Cowboys. But then Dallas on an interception just before the end of the first quarter. Second and 10 to Cincy 12. Cooper Rush pass short left intended for CeeDee Lamb. Intercepted by, I think it was Stone and Taylor Britt at the Cincinnati 4. Stone to the Cincinnati 4 for no gain. CeeDee Lamb penalty on Dallas. Illegal formation declined. And it was 7-7 at the end of the first quarter. Cincinnati had a second quarter. The Cincinnati Bengals had a turnover on downs. 4-13 at the Dallas 44. Joe Burrow pass incomplete. Short right to Brown, and the Dallas got the ball back. They tried to score a touchdown, but could not. They got to field goal range, and they had to settle for a field goal. 4th and 5, the Cincinnati 17. Brandon Aubrey's 35-yard field goal is good, and it was 10-7 Dallas. But then Cincinnati scored their second touchdown of the game, and it was there was some technical problems. I'm sorry. It was Joe Burrow, 2nd and 5 at the Dallas 19. Joe Burrow passed short left to Brown, pushed out of bounds at Dallas for 16 yards. Cincinnati challenged the runner, was out of bounds, and the play was reversed. Shotgun Joe Burrow passed short left to Brown for the 19-yard touchdown. Cade York's extra point is good, and it was 14-10 Cincy. Dallas had to punt after going 3 and out, 3 plays, 10 yards. And then Cincinnati tried to score a touchdown. They got in the field goal range, 4th and 7 at the Dallas 19. Cade York's 37-yard field goal is good, 17-10 Bengals. And then Dallas had to punt again after going 3 and out, 3 plays, 5 yards. And then 1st and 10, Cincinnati 7. Joe Burrow kneels to Cincinnati 6 for -1 yards. And that's where we stand at the end of the first half. Dallas is going to have to play hard. They're going to really have to score. They're going to have to come out and score. And that offense is going to have to really protect Cincinnati's defense and their quarterback and their offense from scoring. And they're really going to have to play hard. And they've been struggling lately. Despite their win on Thanksgiving Day a couple of weeks ago. So, but they're really going to have to really step it up in that second half. They're going to have to do it. Can Dallas rally and come from behind, or will Cincinnati go on and get the win? We'll have to wait and see. Time will tell. Well, that's just about going to wrap it up for the Scott Sports 101. Sunday Night Football postgame show, Monday Night Football update show. I'll be back with the Monday Night Football postgame show after the game between the Bengals and Cowboys has concluded. But until then, always remember, beat Be a team player each and every day in every way possible. So long, everybody. 3, 2, 1. I'm done.